The following is for informational purposes only. For medical advice, please see a medical professional.
Welcome to Staying Alive with Margaret and Susy. And today we are going to talk about building local community. As you guys know, Susy and I are totally like family, but we live thousands of miles apart. And
Mhm.
so even though we'd really love to be together every day and go hiking and go on marches together if they happen, or bring each other soup if we're sick, or hold each other's hands if something scary happens. Like we don't have that because we live so far apart, and everybody needs that in their lives. And we may have it like from one significant other, but what we're finding as we age, that old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. You know
Yeah,
what? That
takes a village,
increases
period.
that increases tenfold when you're getting into the elder care. Like there's so many things that we need help with. And so we're going to get into that. And so we need those people in our lives. We just do, we do, we do.
Yep,
And Susie and I are going to talk about that today.
good
Anything you
idea.
want to say off the bat here?
Well, I
Or
just think it's important because we all know that social connection has a lot to do with health as we age. That's what all the literature says. One of the first things they say in preventing dementia or just staying healthy is to have social connection.
yeah,
So,
yeah, that's why we're talking about it. And I was thinking about the way it was when my parents were growing up and getting into their adulthood. It was always in my ancestry, it was always like the church ladies.
mm,
Really, it really was. And that's where my mother made all her friends when she first moved to a new town when we were young
mm,
children. And that's the way it was. And then my dad was a vet, and so yeah, you'd go to the American Legion or the
mhm.
Moose Lodge, or like, wait, what's the place in Bellingham that we used to have music events?
VFW, the
What
VFW,
was
the
it? The
Eagles, the Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know what the Moose Lodge or the Eagles is, but like we went there, and and that's the way
yeah.
you met your neighbors. And
That wasn't the case where I grew up. I mean, my parents, we weren't big churchgoers, but my parents had a pretty big social life. My dad was in the Kiwanis, and they had lots of friends, and they
I don't know
played
what the Kiwanis
bridge.
is, but I mean that
Kiwanis
sounds
is
like,
another philanthropic community organization,
yeah.
and they do a lot of good things in communities.
And
Um,
my
that,
husband's parents were really into the scouts. They were like
uh,
the cub masters, the scout masters. They took the kids on
oh, my dad
all the
did that
camping
too.
trips. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like there's all those other kinds of things like as your kids are getting
yeah,
older, and
yeah.
then there are the things that you're interested in because that's the place to go to find help too and find
Mhm.
friends. And um,
Yeah.
I guess when you're kids, you might make your connections at school. But
Sure. And when you're in college, you make connections at college. And sometimes when you're a young parent, you make connections with other people who have children.
mm-hmm,
That's what I
mm-hmm,
found. I ended up, hanging out with my friends who's also had children.
yeah.
And that was good.
Now
That
I
was
know
really,
there's some concern nowadays that real friendship is being replaced by AI and like
uh,
social media. Uh,
you think that's true for older people though?
It depends. Like
Oh,
if there's a mental health issue, I'm not so sure. There was an article in The Guardian last week about a
uh,
man who got divorced and lost all his money because there are now scams with AI where
oh
he
my
knew it was
gosh.
an AI relationship, but the woman kept saying, "You're making me real" or something, and he like completely
So,
dumped his wife for the AI.
well, that sounds like dementia
And
to me.
and then the AI woman talked him into investing all his money somewhere.
Oh,
So,
that's so sad.
yeah. So,
That's so sad. Well, that just speaks to loneliness, doesn't it? I
yeah.
mean, it does it. And I remember seeing something one day. Loneliness is everything it's cracked up to be. And
Hmm.
and so it's so important to figure out ways that you can make a social connection.
Yeah. And so it can start very well with what are your common interests? Like I've
Hmm.
always been in interested in health. So you know what? I've been a YMCA member my whole entire adult life. And as
Hmm.
I reflect back, yeah, that's where I made my walking partners because I have moved and lived in a lot of different places. Like Susie still lives in the same place we went to college 50 years ago. I have
Right.
had to be a little more creative in making new friends everywhere I went.
Well,
And
for a while I lived for 7 years in Oregon, and to be honest with you, that's what I missed living there was the social connection because it was in a community that I felt like didn't didn't have the connections that I have living here. Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
yeah. So YMCA, that was one for me. And then I'm interested in local politics, so I usually get involved in my local club around that. And then there's like the art stuff, like I often join a writing group. I had like a friend who was an artist and I did all my museum stuff with him, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's no longer living and I was like, I need a new museum buddy. And I thought of this woman I know at the Y and it's like she's an artist and she loves the museum. And sure enough, I was like, "Do you want to go to the new exhibit, Carmen?" She's like, "Yeah, let's go."
That's
So,
great.
yeah. So whatever interests you, like what kinds of groups are you involved in, Susie?
Well, I'm in a book group. I've been in a book group for over 25 years, and so I've got that. And I have a friend that I walk with pretty we used to walk like almost every day, but we both are busy, so we get in usually a week, one or two walks a week. And that's a really good way to make connections. I'm also a member of the Y off and on. My husband and I are also part of a neighborhood association, which actually got formed when there was an issue in our neighborhood with development. And so the neighborhood formed a neighborhood association. Now in our town, there is actually a neighborhood association in every neighborhood. And that's a really good way to meet your neighbors
Yeah.
and get involved in things. They have regular meetings, and we're also part of a community meal program that we do once a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's at a local church. But um, I think it's sad that people sometimes don't even know their neighbors.
Yeah.
It's like, and that I think that's important. I'm really fortunate in that I know everybody on my street pretty much, and I'm glad that I do. Um,
You
I
know what
think,
my dad used to do? He used to go cut the neighbor's grass. Like
oh,
he was a
really?
good guy, you know. He's like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, he liked to have a nice yard, you too. You know, but he's really
Uh-huh.
into yard work. He's like, I can cut the neighbor's grass, and he made friends very quickly. I mean, they lived in the same place for more than 60 years, but then it became a suburb where people moved in and out, and
Hmm. Hmm.
depending on how businesses changed and everything. And so every few years, he'd get a new neighbor, and
Yeah.
he'd go knock on the door and introduce himself, you know. So
Hmm.
that's really nice.
Yeah, it is. It's a good way to meet people.
And
And
I
I
do,
think I think people during COVID became isolated and a little bit more, of course, because we had to. Um, and I think it hasn't really opened up as much as it was before then. I think people kind of got used to being isolated. My friend and I were talking this morning about how back in the 70s and the 80s, how our friends used to just drop by. And I don't know if it was our age or if it was just the time, and I really
Mhm.
miss that.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
old days when people, oh, it's Margaret, she's coming over, just to hang out.
yeah. And I live in a city that's kind of more of it's kind of known as a cafe culture. As I think about it, there was years ago, Michael Moore did a movie where he came here and he's like in the coffee shop. He's like, do any of these people work? Like everyone in the whole town is in the coffee shop all day long. And um, if I go visit my son in LA, like there's certain coffee shops where all the screenwriters are and they've got their laptops out
Oh,
and they're like,
uh,
they're networking with each other madly. And
yeah,
my
yeah.
husband, as you know, is from England. The pub culture there, it's really important for
Mm-hmm.
community. Like
Mm-hmm.
every neighborhood has its pub, not because
Oh,
it's like heavy drinking, but that's where
it's
you
a
go.
place to
That's
meet.
where you
Yeah,
connect. That's where you
yeah.
go to connect.
My husband just recently joined a coffee group with some friends of his, and he goes every Wednesday morning and has coffee with these guys, and
Mhm.
loves it. And
That's
I,
so
I
good.
was really encouraging it because I think it's important. Yeah.
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 So we want to end up with talking about when you're a senior, if you're maybe like a little less mobile or you feel like it's harder to meet friends or whatever, then what do you do? Then
Mhm.
what do you do?
Yeah.
And Susie's been really involved with the senior center. Um, and so do
Yeah,
you
through
want to
my
talk
work.
a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
there's ways that you can get involved if you're having a hard time getting out there and making social connections. And one of them is a senior center course. Most communities have a senior center, and so there's lots of opportunities to go there and meet people. Usually there's a meal. Um, and most places have what's called an area agency on aging, which is provide social services and connect you to social services if you're having a hard time with connecting. Maybe you need some counseling, or maybe you need help with transportation, or maybe you need some home health work. Those can be really helpful. Also, volunteering is a way. Maybe, I know at our senior center, they're always looking for volunteers. Volunteers even to help set tables at lunch or greet people, um, stand at the counter and answer questions. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything really difficult to do. There's a lot of places, and there's a lot of places in a community to volunteer, and it's a wonderful way to meet people because most people, when they're working in their working years, they met a lot of people that way.
Yeah.
I remember when I was working full time, I would come home and I'd be sort of burned out. I'm with people all day long, talking,
Hmm.
talking, talking. And I remember I never wanted to get on the computer at home because I just, I actually am a little bit more of an introvert. I'm happy I didn't realize that until I got older, but I sort of regroup by being alone. And
Uh-huh.
then I'm happy to be out with people, but I need that regrouping every so often. And
Right.
I think it's important to kind of figure that out for yourself,
Yeah.
whether or not you're an introvert or an extrovert. And by that, I mean extroverts are people that really get their energy from being around other people,
Yeah.
whereas
Well,
introverts need to kind of regroup every once in a while and get their own, create their own energy.
yeah. So let's talk about that because I have a friend who's an extreme introvert and she's 78 years old and she now needs a lot of things and
Mhm.
she feels overwhelmed about it and
Mhm.
she she just needs a lot of support and as her friends are starting to die and everything it's a little overwhelming because I feel like gee, I can't do everything for her. Like she'll want
Sure.
me to pick her up from the doctor's office and get her up the three flights of stairs. It's like, oh, I don't know. I
Yeah, yeah,
don't know if
yeah.
I'm the best person for the job here. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so we need to think about that when we're getting up in years, and there's so many different services out there. And my
Hmm.
friends who are good at getting the support, I notice that they are totally hooked into their senior centers,
Hmm.
totally. And
Yeah.
within those senior centers, there's services. You can get lunch every day. There's a
Hmm.
social worker who can help you with things. They
Connect you with resources. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
connect you with all the
Yeah.
resources that
Yeah.
you need.
You can play games. Our senior center has all kinds of games like bridge and mahjong and chess, and they even there's some foreign language going on. Like they were telling me that there's a group that gets together and does Scrabble in French.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of fun things going on there. And it's important to be open to that. It's not good to totally isolate yourself. And
Right.
yeah.
And even if you're introverted and you're perfectly happy at home, get
Mm-hmm.
connected with your senior center just to meet the social worker so that you
Sure.
know that person by name and you can call them when you
Mm-hmm.
need something.
Right.
My
Or
parents, when they like come home from a surgery or something, they call the senior center and the senior center would show up with walkers and, everything
Mhm.
that they needed.
And even if your senior center can't do things, they can connect you with the people who can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the way it works. In our community, I know it's the Lions Club that helps people with handicap equipment.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the Northwest Regional Council, which is our area agency on aging that connects you with home health care.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you
or
can figure
food
out home health
resources.
care through your doctor's office and such too.
Sure, yeah. And
Yeah.
never, and when you have a medical thing going on, always remember that hospitals have medical social workers. I'm going through something right now, and I've already found all kinds of support at the doctor's offices. They have support people. I think that a lot of doctor's offices have finally figured out that if they have kind of a nurse manager, not a receptionist, not a nurse, but somebody who can kind of coordinate care and call people for the doctor, it makes things go so much smoother.
Uh-huh.
And I hope that that's happening in other communities because it's really been noticeably happening here and it's very helpful.
Oh, that's good.
Because the doctors don't have time to make phone calls.
Yeah.
They're busy.
Yeah. And then for more like companionship kinds of things, if you're affiliated with some religion, they often have
Mhm.
organizations. They have people that will show up and they'll bring like holiday meals to people and come and
Right.
visit them on
Hmm.
holidays if they don't have anyone to visit them. And then there's another organization that's not religious affiliation, and it was formerly called Little Brothers, like the play on Big Brothers for children,
Oh, uh-huh.
Little Brothers, but it's now called Friends of the Elderly. And
Oh,
so
okay.
look that up and see. I know that they're a nationwide organization, and what they provide is in-person visits for companionship.
Well,
And
that's
you know what
great.
they found that seniors most want? Tech
Hmm.
help. Tech
Oh,
help.
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah, I
look,
can believe that. I can believe
Susie,
that.
look and see if they have one in your town, and they'll come over and give you tech help.
Well, and always remember that the Meals on Wheels program is designed to bring meals to people who are homebound. They don't have to be low income. They only have to be homebound. So if you can't drive, if you can't get out of your house, even for a temporary period of time, Meals on Wheels can deliver meals to you at very low or no cost. And they can connect you with resources as well. In our community, the Meals on Wheels program would deliver 7 frozen meals a week. And sometimes for people they couldn't cook because of a disability or something, they bring a hot meal every day. So all communities have those programs.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And that's a way to, make a connection, with people.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you said when you didn't you sometimes do delivery for Meals
No,
on
I
Wheels?
did home visits.
You
Once in
did
a
the
while
home
they had
visit.
me do delivery, but
Yeah.
most of the time I did home visits to check on people's eligibility and to see how they're doing, follow up and see
Yeah.
how they're doing.
So
And so
it
I was out in the community a lot. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I remember, that it
Yeah.
included home visits,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is really great.
Yeah. And that was it was good. I was in all kinds of different places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Met all kinds of people.
Well, I think that just about covers why we feel it's
Yeah.
important for your health in every way to
Yeah. Get
build
out there.
local
Yeah.
community.
And if you
Yeah.
can't get out there, get somebody to come in.
Anything else you want to say today on that?
Um, No,
I-
I only thing I can think of is that not to rely too much on the computer just for companionship. People do Facebook and like you were saying, AI
Mhm.
kind of things.
Yeah.
Those things aren't necessarily real social connections. So,
Yeah. As
yeah.
far as I know, the computer can't make chicken soup for you if you have a cold. I
It
don't
can't,
think,
it can't give you a hug.
I
It
don't
can't
know.
give you a hug.
Yeah. Well,
Or
I don't
pick up
know.
your mail.
This guy who got divorced, he thought that he could get that, but it didn't work out, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sad. So sad.
Oh
Well,
boy.
great. So this has been wonderful, and I
Yeah.
hope that this is helpful to people.
Yeah,
Be
I'm
sure
sure.
and when you listen, like and subscribe, and you can listen on different platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and check out our website, which
Yeah.
is Staying Alive with Margaret and Susy, SUSY.com.
Yeah. That's great. And until next time, we will be staying
Staying alive.
alive.
You've been listening to Staying Alive with Margaret and Susy. This show is hosted by Margaret Cooley and Susie Hymas. To subscribe to our show, leave a comment or ask a question, please visit stayingalivewithmargaretandsusy.com. Our podcast is available on all major podcast platforms. If you've enjoyed our program, please feel free to leave us a 5-star review. Thanks for listening.